And as I'm in this deep, sorrowful prayer, I stop and I started to look around and I realized I was in complete darkness and I wasn't in any pain. So I started trying to figure out where I was. And my first instinct was to put my hand in front of my face to see if that I could see it. I was trying to determine if it was dark there or if there was just nothing to see. And when I couldn't see my hand, my next thought was to start clapping to see if I had hands. And I wasn't able to. And that's when the realization hit me. I've really died. I've already crossed over. I never had any of the recollection of leaving my body and seeing the earth fading beneath me. I think I was in such a deep sorrow that I didn't even notice that I had crossed over. So as I'm sitting there in the darkness, I start trying to accept what has happened to me and that I have died. And I'm still thinking about my husband and children. As I'm waiting, I'm praying for them. Lord, if they've found my body, please comfort them. Looking forward to seeing my grandma and grandpa again and just having that wonderful reunion. And as I sat and waited, the longer and longer that time passed, the more concerned I started becoming because nothing was happening and no one was coming for me. And so that happy expectation started turning to anxiety and concern as I waited. And I didn't understand why I wasn't immediately in heaven. I started worrying that I was about to go to judgment. So I was trying to prepare to, this is the moment. I'm trying to process why I am stuck in this darkness alone and what I have done that could have separated me from having that wonderful homecoming that you hear so many other people speak about who have had near-death experiences and have had a radiant encounter. I was fully expecting that heavenly, acceptance and homecoming, but it never came. So while I'm sitting there, I became very aware of God, or what I call the source, all around me. And it felt eternal. It was everything that ever has been, is, and will be in existence. It was almost like the primordial state of it being there, where it could come into existence at any time. And it encompassed the beginning and the end. It was everything that ever has been. And what was so soul crushing for me was that I almost felt like I was in an invisible box where I was separated from everything in existence. And I was at the time still trying to grapple with being separated from my family, from my children and my husband, that I would never see them again at this point. And I was now separated from everything ever in existence. And that's very hard to take. I couldn't understand it. And so I had not a life review, but a deep soul searching, a self-reflection time where I was trying to determine what has separated me. Why am I so horrible? I don't understand. And I started looking at my life and how I've treated others, and I didn't find myself lacking. I found that I had always been kind and loved people to my best ability. But whenever I looked at loving myself, I saw that I had failed terribly in that regard. I failed to love myself enough to think myself even worthy. And it had held me back from so many things that I was supposed to be doing in this life. And I understood that at that point. Once that happened, immediately I felt a presence come up over my left shoulder, and I could not identify him as being human. He wasn't necessarily an alien or an angel or a deity. I couldn't identify him at all, but I could identify that it was definitely a male presence. And as he approached me, he sent to me in my mind, "You're not going to be here forever." And instantly it calmed me. And it almost felt like he was hesitant, like he wasn't supposed to be intervening, but he was showing me almost a sterile kindness because he saw the level of my distress. And once he did speak to me, like I said, it was instant calmness because I knew I wasn't alone, that someone else was there. And if I were to trust him, then I'm not going to be here by myself forever, which was such a terrifying thought when I was over there stuck in that situation. As soon as he did that, we started sailing off to the left. And as we did, I started seeing a faint purple glow off in the distance. And as we got closer, I could see these pink intersecting lines in between it. And where they came together, it glowed bright yellow. And it just gave off immense love. And it resembled really a map of brain neurons, is how I would describe it whenever I first returned and first started speaking about it. Since then, I've seen pictures of the cosmic web, and it echoes what a map of brain neurons looks like. So either one of these would be a good representation of what I saw. But as we got closer and closer to it, I could just feel that love radiating off. And my interpretation of it was that it was this congregation of souls and of all of the goodness from humanity, from beginning to end, was just there within that nebula. And he told me that's the fabric of humanity. And when he did, I just sat there because I felt like something so amazing had been revealed to me. One of the mysteries that most people don't ever get to see. For some reason, he took me by that and let me see that and revealed that to me. And I wanted so much to go to it, but he kind of indicated, no, it's not for you. And I didn't even have time to process that before we were sailing off again to the left. And as we did, instantly, I was inserted back in my body.